You could answer the question right now, and you refuse to do it.
Wait a minute.
Look,
Harvard has a right to have any litmus test they want for their faculty. They're a private institution.
Okay. All right. Well, there's the answer to your question. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. Coming up next, Karine Jean-Pierre was the voice of the Biden administration.
The audacity of this woman.
Anti-Semitism right now
but
from
why
Democrats.
on earth would she not be able to answer that question?
She has the same answer that every Republican has had for time immemorial. Why isn't there any diversity of viewpoint in the faculty at a college?
So what is the answer?
It was a joke of a question.
Okay.
It was a joke of a question.
So what's the answer?
Deserve an answer.
What's the answer?
The answer
is it an ideological litmus test to have a Holocaust denier be asked to ask?
That's not an ideological. Is there an ideological litmus test that you have to believe in progressive radicalism to get hired now? Because that's what it seems like to us.
Holocaust denialism.
That's the box they
which
have to
is card-carrying, textbook anti-Semitism. You
she
think
wasn't responding
doesn't
to
count?
That. She wasn't responding to that, and it's a patently ridiculous assertion.
Why are you assuming that she wasn't responding to that when she gave
because
that answer?
Because I'm a thinking human being who can see what a rational person would say to a ridiculous question.
She didn't say that's a ridiculous question.
You were totally misconstruing this.
Scott, literally, we played it for the American people to see.
Yeah, and every single person's going to see it my way.
She literally did not answer. She did not answer the question the way you want to answer the question, and that question has an answer. What is the answer?
The answer to that question is you're an idiot. To that congressman. That is the answer to that question.
What is the answer? Will the federal government, if somebody comes in and says, I don't believe the Holocaust really happened, will the federal government bring the hammer down on universities for saying that is not a viewpoint that we are allowing on our campuses?
The question would be
that the answer ought to be no, but it sounds like neither of you want to give an answer.
No, the answer ought to be what kind of litmus test is Harvard putting on its faculty now?
Yes.
Only 3% of its faculty are Republicans.
I mean, she didn't have a note card in front of her to tell her the answer, and this is what happens when you have somebody who lied about having an education degree. They didn't teach about the Holocaust maybe when she was getting her French degree.
If
she actually had that.
We also didn't even.
You're accusing her of being a Holocaust denier?
No. Hold on a second.
This is outrageous.
Excuse me,
Scott.
Stop. Everybody stop. Everybody stop for a second. Excuse me, Scott. Nobody accused her of being a Holocaust denier.
You're implying
Scott,
that that's what she wants.
No one did that.
It
is completely.
The line of inquiry here
just
is an
stop for just a
implication
second.
that she's like, sure,
it is
let's
completely disingenuous for you to sit at this table and say that we accused her of being a Holocaust denier.
I think it's disingenuous to portray this interaction the way you are.
Absolutely no one said that. It is disingenuous.
How are you portraying it?
It's disingenuous. It's disrespectful.
I think
wrong.
the question was disingenuous.
So, excuse me.
It was a disingenuous question.
How is it a disingenuous question? The other part of the question is, if you are an election denier, and Harvard said you can't be an election denier and teach at this school, is that a litmus test?
The question is, what litmus test is Harvard putting on its faculty?
Okay,
we know they have one
gotta
set of
go.
ideology.
But it is very clear that neither of you want to answer a very simple question.
So now you're accusing us.
Are you allowed?
Are you accusing us?
Is Harvard?
Are you accusing him and me?
Is Harvard allowed, or any school? Is any school allowed to say that these are facts, and if you don't believe in facts, you cannot teach here? Are they allowed to do that?
The question is, what is the litmus test today?
Scott,
and what kind of faculty do you want?
My
you want
question.
People who all have the same views or
when you answer my
views?
Question with a question, you are dodging.
When
so
you ask me questions that I think are kind of ridiculous framing of this issue, then I think you're misconstruing the issue.
How is it a ridiculous framing?
Because
you either believe that there are things that are facts or you don't.
I do believe in facts, and I also believe that that member of Congress was creating a disingenuous, ridiculous question designed for this gotcha moment right here.
Okay, it is very telling that you are not able or willing to even entertain an answer. You could answer the question right now, and you refuse to do it.
Wait a minute. Look, Harvard has a right to have any litmus test they want for their faculty. They're a private institution.
Okay, all right. Well, there's the answer to your question. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. Coming up next, Karine Jean-Pierre was the voice of the Biden administration.
The audacity of this woman. Let's talk about it. Abby, I normally give her grace. I normally do. I normally give her grace, because, she's not really a debater. Okay. But here's the thing. This woman constantly does exactly what she tells others not to do, especially Scott. Okay, well, don't answer my question with a question. You do it all the time. Well, you're dodging the question. It's not a yes or no. Like Democrats always want a yes or no, but they never give a yes or no. Well, and they can do all of that, but conservatives can never do it. On top of that, we all know Abby's show is a pile-on. Okay, it's usually Sir Michael or Scott or maybe O'Leary, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is usually Trump deranged, including the host. Okay, and she never lets anybody talk. You say, here's the question. You go, well, no, 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 no. Scott. It's like I didn't get a chance to answer the question. I literally didn't get a chance to answer the question. And I think another tactic that she does is when you start to make sense, she interjects. Like she throws something there. So now you have to argue that point and you kind of forget about the point that you were making, right? She's very good at gaslighting. Okay.
We have been helping people grow online. It has been absolutely amazing. We have helped many content creators get from zero to monetization in under 30 days. We even have a couple of these superstars who did it in 1 or 2 weeks. If you want to learn how to do YouTube, I don't care your age, I don't care what skills or talents you have. Trust me, I can help you do it effortlessly. Just reach out to me with the word coach and we can get it done. One more thing. We have a YouTube course that I just now created. I'm extremely proud of, and a lot of people are getting so much from. Purchase that course and work with us. You can join our private Facebook group and our daily group calls, which is 3 to 5 days per week, and you can learn so much more than you've ever learned before. I can't wait to hear from you. Love you. Peace.
She's very good at this, but the problem is not only is she Trump deranged, she gets triggered so much, right? To the fact that the other people on the panel, when they are even speaking, if they're speaking to Scott or Sir Michael, she gets triggered and then she'll cut them off to speak and say what she wants to say. Abby annoys me, and I'm telling you, pisses me off to the highest level of passivity because I'm telling you, the way this woman goes about actually carrying on a conversation, trying to debate is ridiculous. And when I say ridiculous, I mean to the point that you can't even make a argument with a good basis or in good faith, because Abby will go ahead and say, well, it's not what I wanted to hear. It's not going to give my viewers the Trump is bad, orange man bad. It's not doing that. So I don't want to share that viewpoint. And I want to steer the conversation somewhere else.
Yeah.
I have more, but I'm gonna let you cook.
Okay. Mika, I appreciate you having a level of decorum when it comes to this woman. First time I saw Abby Phillip, I remember you always said, oh, she's a pretty girl. And I was like, yeah, no, she's cute. But then she opened her mouth. And every time Abby Phillip opens her mouth, the only reason I even watch her show is because Scott Jennings is on there, or Kevin O'Leary, who, like myself, is an entrepreneur. I enjoy watching him come in with facts. What happens with her is she's there to stop any type of logical reasoning or any type of thing that could possibly encourage independent thought. This is an agenda. Like you said, it is bald-headed reasoning. And my whole thing is, I'm sick of these cosplaying individuals who run around here acting like they care and they do not. The thing about this woman is, it becomes about whatever her bosses tell her it needs to become about. And we know what it needs to become about. CNN, and I never thought I would live to see the day to see this, because I remember being a kid and CNN was just on a couple of outlets. It wasn't the global CNN we now know. CNN has become more liberal than MSNBC. MSNBC looks rational compared to what happens with Abby Phillip's show. And then when Scott brings up a point, he's like, no, what you're doing right now is you're implying, oh, well, we didn't say that. that plausible deniability, passive aggressive, gaslighting, nonsensical BS that she does while she sits there and bats those Jasmine Crockett light eyelashes she's got is absolutely disrespectful. It is disgusting. And we're still not addressing the thing that the American people actually care about. Why are our children being forced to have longer school days, more homework, and they're dumber than they've ever been? They cannot balance a checkbook. They do not understand credit. They do not understand financing. They do not understand reasonable cognitive ability when it comes to passing standardized tests that the U.S. Department of Education has signed off on since 1979. But we got time to talk about Linda McMahon and her tone. And that is exactly why, shameless plug time, I wrote The Real Black Agenda, exposing the myths, igniting the revolution, because this is what's going on. They continue to put these black faces in high places and tell you that's how all of us are thinking. They continue to tell us that it does not matter. They continue to tell us that this is what is supposed to happen. And you're just supposed to take it and say, yes, another. Nah, Abby Phillip and her ilk need to be dragged out in the street. If you just run that whole thing back and put it on mute, it's great. But the second she does this, I'm like, you might as well be Rasputin. Norman, get dead. Can't stand her.